So what we've learned so far is regarding commands that we can read data, the select statement and all these other keywords that we have learned plus others to read data in a certain way that we want it. Now moving forward, we are going to learn commands that manipulate data, like this one, because we not just want in a database, obviously you don't want to just read data, you also want to update probably some columns. Maybe you want to insert new rows, or maybe you want to delete some data. So obviously this is another topic, which is the data manipulation language, and for start we'll learn with the most simple one, to insert, the command insert. Now what insert does? Basically insert means that it's a command that we can use to insert new rows in a specific table or tables. So for example, I'm going to right click query tool, I'm going to select everything from city, and as you can see here I have 600 rows. Now let's say I want to add another row in table city. Now I'm going to give you the general command, and it's insert into, and then you will need to specify the table name, and then you will open parentheses, and then you will need to specify the column 1, column 2, column 3, and then you will type values, which is a keyword, and then you will type value 1, value 2, value 3, let's say. And this is the general syntax. So insert to the name of the table, the name of the columns, and then on values you will need to insert the specific data type that the example column 1 has, or column 2 has, or column 3 has. Now let's try with this table so we can understand better. Insert into, and the table name is city, and then I will open parentheses, and then I will need to put what columns I want to update. So for example, if I want only to update this column, and when I say update, I mean I want to insert a new row with only this value, I will type only this column name, value, and I will need to type the data type that this column has, and this is an integer, and we haven't learned about data types, but integer is basically a number, so I can put here 1. Now notice what happens if I'm going to fire this. Values, my bad. You see here that I have an error, because what basically Postgres is telling me, the way this table has been designed, it has been designed that these 4 columns don't accept null values. So what basically Postgres is doing behind the scene is doing something like this: insert into city, city ID, city country ID, and last update values 1 null null null, which null basically means an empty space in memory. And this is what Postgres is doing behind the scenes, because you want to insert a new row and only specify this value for this. And the way this database, this table was created, we will learn when we create tables, it created with this constraint: you can't have null values in your city column or in your country ID or in your last update. So in our case we will need to update all the rows. Now city, it's a, let me select again so we can see better. City is a character variant, which basically means a text. So let's put my new city. And country ID is the value should be a primary, the value should be a number, but that number should be a row in my country table. So for example, if I put here, let me first select from country, and you can see here that country table has 109 rows. So if I put here, let's say 110, and last update, let me select this one again, last update should be a timestamp without a time zone. Now I'm going to show inbuilt function that exists in Postgres Postgres, which is current timestamp, and this basically will give you the current time which, for example, I'm recording this video, and in your case when you are learning. So what will happen if I fire this? You see here that I have a first error. It says that duplicate key value violates unique constraint on city primary key. So I want to insert a new row with this value 1 in my city table, but the row with the value 1 on city ID already exists. So I have to insert a different value that doesn't exist. So I will put 601 because there are 600 rows, and let's see here what is my next error. So you see here, my next error is regarding this country ID, because what is Postgres doing behind the scenes? Behind the scenes, before inserting, is going to fire something like this. It's going to fire select from country where country ID is equal to 110. And it's going to fire this, it's going to find no rows, and because it's going to find no rows, this will give me an error. So I need to put here a value that exists in country table, and let's type here, and you can see here that it says that query returned successfully. Now let me query select from city where city ID is equal with 601, and let's see what I have. As you can see here, I have a new row with all the values that I specified, and regarding last update, you see here that Postgres has put in this column the current timestamp in which I'm recording this video. This is an inbuilt function. You can also do something like this, but it's not very practical, and it will be the same result. Now in your case, when you put current timestamp without brackets, without single quotes, you will have your time when you will take this video. And that's it for a basic insert into statement.